Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown and analysis. Today, the BC Lions offense versus Montreal was spectacular last week. 526 yards of offense. We had three teams with over 450 in offense. We had two teams with over 500 yards of offense last week. It was spectacular to watch. Vernon Adams gets his start. Just showed why he was so spectacular at the beginning of the season. He was 26 of 36, 72% completion percentage, 385 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 330-plus plays, and important about 30-plus plays. When you have an explosive play, that leads to touchdowns, 5 times more likely to score in a series that has one of those. And here's the interesting thing. When you watch Vernon, the ball was coming out of his hand. He made decisions quickly, and he threw it quickly. First play of the game was a deep shot into blitz and was able to get Justin McInnis involved. And here's the thing I thought about. He's got the biggest, he gets the most yardage per completion in the Canadian Football League out of all starting quarterbacks. So he likes taking shots downfield. I felt when he went back into the game, that deep shot potential would come back, and it came back on the very first play. Now, the other thing he added, he'll make a decision quickly and throw the football. But also, when things break down, he doesn't like it, he can run. He's had 5 rushes, 39 yards. I believe 4 out of the 5 of those runs got him first down. So he can be a nightmare for defenses. And, we're talking about the Montreal Alouettes defense. They're a very good unit. And he was spectacular last week. So before I go, please subscribe to the page, turn notifications on. It's going to alert you as we're posting new stuff. This week we did post a new thing, Coach's Podcast. Episode 1 was Weston Dressler, Hall of Famer Weston Dressler. We talked about life, have a bunch of questions and some stories from his teammates and everything. So it's a good session for you if you want to listen to Weston Dressler. But now let's open the playbook on the BC Lions offense versus Montreal in Week 20. Started early for the BC Lions. The deep shot still in the arsenal. Vernon Adams brings it back. Huge catch by Justin McInnis. There's a difference in coverage sometimes when you can see everybody standing across at this space. This is called level 0, and that means they're going to blitz, and they don't want to get beat deep, so they play inside position. They expect the pass rush to get home in time. It doesn't. That allows McInnis to make this great catch on Dequoy. So this is what's happening. There's kind of miscommunication in the protection. So everybody going to block on, okay? But Eberhardt comes in and takes this edge, and Stanback goes that way. So they technically, when they brought in an extra player, Stanback went there, they would have been picked up. But Vernon recognizes this, and this is, you see this is spectacular. He throws it as he's about to get hit, and that's why you love a big-bodied receiver you can just throw it up to. The best thing about Vernon, one of the things besides his ability to see the field is, God, when he pulls it and runs, he'll get 15 yards before you know it. There's a 15-yard gain. The protection, he felt a little bit of pressure on. I'll show you that in a second. And normally you get everybody lines in gaps like this because they are trying to twist. And they're trying to cover everybody down but then create confusion. And what a twist is he's going to run into this gap. He's going to run into this gap. And he's going to start here, and then he's going to wrap around, trying to get to the quarterback. And you see that happens right here. Godbear turns too far in. He should feel, as soon as he sees that guy not rushing, and I mean by not rushing, he's actually picking a side on him. He should expect somebody coming back. He is a little bit late on that. Still picks it up, but Vernon feels it, sees a lane to go. Great escape and a 15-yard gain. Montreal's plan was to blitz early, and they got beat for a touchdown early in this game here. Barry Hill lit this nice touchdown. Once again, we talked about levels, and here's your levels picture. All right, man. Those guys have no help. There's nobody in the deep middle of the field. How do you know that? How does Vernon know that? Because he sees all these people standing at the line of scrimmage, and he sees that alignment. So Vernon is now thinking, okay, if I have a middle hole shot, what does that mean to middle of the field where there's no help? I'm going to just throw it to a spot. And that's what he does here. He's ready to throw. Barry Hill hasn't established where the post is, but he just throws it to a spot because he knows nobody can make a play on the ball, and he puts his receiver in a position to make a play on the ball. And what I mean by there's no deep player to help out, so he can just throw it to a spot, let him make the play, and that's what happens. He just runs it down. So the big shot, deep ball has returned. So let's review the protection. One-on-one, 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 and then he takes him. Now, here's the extra player. So you can't pick them all up. Vernon actually feels it. You see him really smart veteran move. He shifts this way just to get a second more to throw it up for the touchdown. Backed up. Tough situation. What do? Take a shot downfield. This is a spectacular throw and catch. I love this. I've been saying spectacular a lot, but these are nice plays. Dequoy trying to make a play on this. McInnes knows he's going to get hit, especially when he inside releases. Vernon takes a 3, no hitch, fires it out here. That's a great catch by Justin. You love having a big, tall guy you can throw it to. I love how just Vernon knows I'm going to take this shot as soon as I can. It's a 5-man rush. So they're trying to rush the passer, trying to make it difficult for him to get the ball out of the end zone, trying to get to safety, but nice throw and catch, flip the field. I love Vernon's recognition on this play. This is a long throw to the wide side of the field, and he makes this throw real quick. There's a vertical, there's a seam, and there's a curl or a fly and die, whatever you want to call it. Now the coverage, there's a high player here, there's a high player on the back hash, but this corner is a deep third player, quarter player, and this is what you call the low player. He's the curl to work to the flats eventually. So right here, this corner, Cabianento is falling in to take this seam because there's a seam right here for that safety. So Cabianento is going to protect this dead space of the zone coverage. And they're expecting the halfback to be able to get underneath this throw. But Vernon sees it so fast and throws it so fast, you just can't get out there. I think that's roughing. Just can't get in a position to get to that space. Because Vernon saw this picture, saw the corner, he knew the coverage, and he threw it very fast. Great throw to the wide side of the field. You can watch it from the end zone, how quickly he makes this decision. Ball's out of his hands, all the way out on the outside. Montreal kept trying to pressure, but the key is if you get the ball out of your hands, it doesn't matter what pressure's coming. And Vernon was seeing it, recognized what's happening. To the wide side of the field, you have a corner route and you have an out route. So he's going to come up and go and work out to the flat. So when you put two people in this area of the field, technically, usually this corner stays high to cover the corner route because he's playing inside for the post. And you have a player here. So as long as that guy lifts, you can throw this ball. Now, the other thing Vernon recognizes is the field blitz. So now there's nobody to get underneath this throw. And what does underneath mean? Nobody can run underneath and make a play on it. Because the person, once Ruffin blitzes, the linebacker's going to push there and he'll never get there. So really good recognition. Vernon immediately says, I'm taking this throw on the outside. That's an easy first down on second and medium. Get the ball in guys' hands, let them run with it to wide side of the field. Good things happen. Cover zero, zone, man. I thought Vernon saw pictures really well. This is first and 10, easy throw. The route I'm going to draw up is everybody in the Canadian Football League runs it. It's It's what's called a smash read. I call it a high-low corner read. We have 2 hitches and a corner route. So that's what's going to end up with the routes. If it's man, and that player is down on this hitch, and that player is down on this hitch, you would throw the corner route. If it's zone, if it's zone, and that guy goes high and that guy's in the middle of the field, then this player can't be right. Why? Because there's 1, 2 hitches. So you're just playing a game. It's either you're going to throw a corner route or you're going to stretch this player horizontally. And you can see it right here. He's high. He's high. He's the low player. He's attached to this one. You throw to the outside one. All right, you got to process that quickly. You got to see that picture and understand this is how teams play this coverage. Nice throw on the outside. 1st and 10, nice 15-yard gain. Montreal zone blitz is here, and we'll explain what a zone blitz is and show you how it can hurt you if you don't get home. So this is a big game, and we'll show you what happened here. Most teams, when you blitz and send pressure, because this player is going to blitz off here. So they're going to add to their rush. This is called a zone blitz. And what does zone blitz mean? Well, it means once that guy blitzes, they're just saying, you know what, we'll try to cover the zones on the field with less players. So let me get to a point where you can watch 1, 2, 3, 4 underneath players. So this is a 65-yard field, but there's only 4 underneath players. All right. Now, the deep part of the field, he's a deep player, he's a deep player, he's a deep player. So there's only 3 deep players, which a lot of teams play 3 deep all the time. Now, this 4 underneath is where you can be hurt if you do not get home, and that's what happens here. If you see up top, you're going to have a seam that goes up this way. Now, as this seam carries, watch the corner falls in, and Duquois falls in too. Now, I don't know if this is a mistake or I don't know what they're doing in their coverage schemes. I would have thought he'd be a low player and push to this one. But Vernon sees both players high. He recognizes this is the throw for a big gain to the perimeter on the outside. So zone blitzes, if you get home, they're good. But sometimes you void areas on the field, and that's what happens here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming with 4 underneath zone players. Good read by Vernon. His eyes were to the other side of the field, and then he made this throw. Sometimes when you blitz and you don't have enough rushers, you're going to be in trouble and leave your defensive backs in a bind. And that's what happens here. There's 8 protectors. So BC can pick up everything that happens, and you've got guys in man coverage, and they got to make a switch downfield, and I'll explain what a switch is. So he's going to run up and run a post. He's going to come in his wake, and he's going to run up, and he's going to favor the inside guy, then he's going to flatten out to the sideline. And it's important that the outside player goes inside. So right now he feels this player, and he's going to stay locked on him. And what I mean by locked, man-to-man. And now he's dragging behind a little bit. Duquois is taking him, and then all of a sudden the route changes to go out to the flat. So now that it goes out to the flat, the closest guy to get it is the outside guy. He has to switch in man coverage, and it's just way too much space. So really good execution, good vision by Vernon, but its key is the protection is what makes this. So you have, all right, gap, 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 gap. What that means, they're going to block whatever shows up in their gap. He showed up and he'll take this gap. He's coming to take this gap. He's coming to take this gap. So you have this huge wall just to give him enough time to find a picture and find a throw. Great protection to get this throw on the outside. Let's watch one more angle of it. So again, watch what happens out here with these two. So right here, he's locked up on that one. Duquois thinks he has that one, but then they break out. When they break out, they have to switch this. It takes too long. Ball's out. Big gain. Vernon was seeing pictures very well through the Rolodexes of coverages, gets zoned down at the goal line, recognizes immediately, throws the touchdown on the outside. So watch this picture here. Same play. We already talked about this earlier. He's going to run a corner route. He's going to work up to the corner of the end zone. He's going to come up, run a hitch right here. He's going to run a hitch. So now you've got a corner route with two hitches. It's got a lot of man answers. It's got some zone answers. So right here, the picture is this player stayed inside with these routes. Canadianfootballleague is high. If you notice, he's concerned about this corner route because people throw to that area of the end zone. So he's baiting it. He's waiting to throw that. He wants you to think you're on the hitch, but he really wants to go take that corner route. But Vernon recognizes it. He sees the zone coverage, and he just throws this ball because Canadianfootballleague went to take the corner route. Too much space, easy touchdown. So, Vernon's seeing enough film because he's seen this guy got a couple interceptions in the last 2 years of just sitting on, making you think he's playing the hitch. So he's forcing you to go play that hitch. I'm going to throw the touchdown. So really good picture. Watch it from this angle. All right, once he attaches and doesn't expand that way, all right, the 2-on-1 is the corner route and the hitch. So just watch what he does. And he backs up trying to take it. Easy throw and catch. So Vernon was on point. I don't care if it was zone, man, whatever. He had a great week.